It's a Zach Sang show. We got Heather, we got Dan, and we got Jake Miller in the studio.
Woo!
Oh, you got confetti? Surprise attack.
Trying something new.
I like it.
What smells in here?
I really like that.
That was good, right?
Yeah.
I got another one for the end.
You're really just
Can I do
bringing
it?
the
I want to do the one
vibe.
at the end.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Okay.
Whoop. There you go. Nice catch.
2 a.m. MNLA is your brand new record. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I mean, this is your child, beyond child. Like, you have a different connection to this record than the ones you've made in the past, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I've done all the songwriting in the past. I've written all these records in terms of the lyrics, but this is the first time ever making my own beats. And as of last year, I kind of went to Guitar Center. I got all this fancy equipment, didn't really know how to use it, and sat on YouTube for hours and hours and hours and learned how to make my own beats. So this is the first time where I completely did the whole thing with some help from my friends.
Okay, so lyrics are you.
Yeah.
Production is you.
Everything. Melodies, lyrics.
What, you turned your
production.
house into a studio?
You don't need that much these days. You just need, a MIDI controller, which you do it's basically a keyboard, but it's not actually a piano. It's like you can do the drums on there. You can do any instrument into there for anybody who doesn't know anything about producing. And then I have a little mic in my corner. And as long as you have a good vocal chain, like in Logic, you don't need that much fancy equipment. I just made a remix last night in my bedroom to one of my songs. And it's sick. And it sounds like top quality. It's like top quality.
Now, did you mix and master it all in your house
I learned
too?
how to do all of it from my bedroom.
Why was that important for you to do?
Just because, I don't know if you know this, but I'm independent now. And so I kind of realized I want to be able to do everything. Like, I don't want to have to rely on that producer to send me beats or this writer to want to get in the studio with me on this day and me get all the way there and then cancel on me. Like, that's happened a million times. So I'm like, yo, screw this. I'm going to go make my own beats, write my own songs, mix it, master it, upload it to YouTube, to iTunes, to Spotify, all from my bedroom.
You really could be, you could do it on your own now. You don't
100%.
need a label. You don't need that support.
People like Chance the Rapper have inspired people like me and independent artists so much. I mean, he's winning Grammys. He's done the top thing that you can do in the music industry. He's doing it independent. So that's such great motivation for people like me.
So let's timeline Jake Miller for a second, because you start as an independent artist, right?
Started independent.
And then you have but then the management company you're with gives you a little bit of funding, right? E1 or something back in the day?
So that was my first label. Yeah.
Got it.
My management, he doesn't fund anything. He's just there to kind of manage me. I was independent. It kind of popped off real quick.
Yes.
I signed my first deal, E1.
Got it.
They gave me a 1-album deal. We made 1 album with them. We put it in Target, Walmart. It was great.
Cool.
Things were on the way up. And then the deal was done.
Yeah.
I delivered my album, and now I can either re-sign with them or go to a bigger label. At that point,
You went to a bigger label.
we went to Warner Brothers. And, for a while it was good. And I'm not going to sit here and talk all this crap about the label, because labels do work for some people. There was a lot of things I loved about the label. Everybody who I worked with at the label I loved. It's just a timing thing. And if the energy in the building is not huge,
Yeah.
and they're not fully,
If
I
they're
only
not
want people on my team who
Yes.
are who love me and who are believe in me so much. Like Scooter over here, my tour manager, he believes in me and works harder than I do. He believes in me more than I do. I want to surround myself with only people like that.
And that is the biggest risk, right? You can get signed to a label, but whether getting shelved or not having a full interest and energy behind you, it could really delay your process and your evolution.
Not only delay my process, but the biggest thing for me was it just discouraged me.
Yeah,
It made the whole thing
I
less
get
fun. It's not why I got into the music industry. I would put out a video or a song or an album and I loved it, but we didn't see it make as much money as we wanted to, or not enough views as we wanted to. So it was just a snowball effect. The more that we saw the label was not happy, the less they would work hard. And then it was just a snowball effect. And it just took all the fun out of making music for me. And at one point I'm just this seems more like homework. There's 20 people in every email chain. Everybody's got their opinions. This isn't even me anymore. And so we parted ways. And again, I don't want to sit here and talk badly about the label, but I'm just having so much fun right now. 100% creative control. Just put this whole album out that I made, and my fans got it to #1. All I need is my fans these days, man. I'm good.
But by the way, you didn't even really release an album with the label, did you?
I never released an album.
No,
I
you
had
didn't do
I had a contract. I had a contract with them when I signed to deliver 5 albums. I had not delivered one.
Yeah.
That's how slow everything went.
jeez.
You barely delivered a single, right?
I delivered a few singles, and I kept putting out EPs, and
Yeah.
it's just there's so many things that are out of your control when you're with a label, and it's I was sick of putting out EPs. So when I finally parted ways with the label, I'm like, okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is put out a 10-song album, and it's not going to be in stores. It's not going to be this big fancy commercial push, but I just need to get more music in my fans' heads. That's why I'm a musician. So it's like now I'm just going to keep putting out these big projects of big music every few months.
But do you feel like the universe kind of works in a weird way, right? Like you go through all of this with professional changes, you also go through like a ton of personal stuff. Like,
yeah.
I know, I've known you for a while now. I know you were in a relationship with somebody for a very long time, and the last time you came in, the relationship had just recently ended, I think then.
Yeah.
Like, talk about change, man, and talk about like when it rains, it effing pours.
Bro, there was this month, it was like, I think it was January of this year, where pretty much the breakup was complete. Like, okay, this is the day that we're going to stop talking and stop like seeing each other. So within 1 week, the breakup happened. I got, the news that our tour is canceled because of various reasons, and I parted ways with my label all in like a week. I swear to God, it felt like my whole like career, my whole life was coming crashing down.
You questioned things at that point.
I questioned everything. I was like in a really dark place. I've never in my life been like in a point where I felt like I could possibly be like depressed. That was the first time, and I feel like that was like hitting rock bottom for me. And even though it wasn't relatively, bad compared to what a lot of people go through,
but
to me
it
was a rock bottom for sure. It was the darkest place I've ever been in.
Really?
How long did that depression last for?
I mean, again, I wouldn't say it was depressed compared to most some people who actually have depression. I don't want to say that lightly, but I felt like I was just in a terrible place. My roommate was always gone. I lived alone in a quiet apartment, and everything was kind of crashing out. It lasted like a good 3 months, but that's kind of when I decided, okay, I need to distract myself. I need to start, making music. I need to go and learn how to. And I would literally sit in my room for 8 hours and just let the time pass and learn how to do things, learn how to make my beats, learn how to anything. Like I was just distracting myself with music.
Does music mean something different to you now than it did maybe 3 or 4 years ago?
Absolutely. When I was with the label, I would get an email. It would say, okay, this is your studio session. This is the time. This is the address. These are people you're working with. Sometimes I've never heard of them. I didn't know who they are. I would walk in and it would feel like, I can't even explain it. It was like so much pressure. It was like we were walking in to like complete a homework assignment. Today, we need to make a hit, a radio hit. Let's go on iTunes before we start and look at the top 10 songs. Cool. Let's make a song that sounds like this. Oh. Because this is what's working right now.
Oh, when people go right, you should never go right. You got to go left.
And it took me a long time to realize that. But the whole past few years, I've just been, trying to search for a radio hit and have that one hit that blows me up. And it's like, if that song ever comes, cool. If it doesn't, cool. It's so much more important to make music that people feel. That's why I love people like John Bellion.
Yeah.
Because I listen to his album and I feel every single word that he like sings. Even the way that he mixes his vocals, they're so crisp and like in your ear that you literally feel him like talking to you. And you feel like he wrote the album for you. And that's what I wanted this new music to be.
He doesn't really give a shit about like what other people are listening to or what's cool right now. It literally, he's the definition of, people go right, he goes left.
I love it. Like he inspired me a lot.
But even from like you being depressed and you turning to music, right? Like music was literally your medicine. Now, maybe in ways that it was never before, right? Because like, what cured your sadness?
Yeah, I mean,
music.
Before I would make music, just because it was fun and it's what I did and I loved being on stage and performing. Now I'm kind of making it with obviously those intentions as well, but because like it's a therapy session for me. Like I'll go outside, I'll sit by the pool and I'll write an entire song in my head with no music. I'll create a melody. Like the other day I wrote this song called Palm Boulevard. I just made that up while I was at the pool. Then I put words to it and then I finished the entire song before I was still at the pool. Before there was any beat involved. Then I went home, put it in a voice memo, and made the track. And that's it. Didn't have one other soul help me, and now it's on iTunes and Spotify.
Awesome.
I feel like all of, like, I know, like, when it rains, it pours, and it was obviously a crappy 3 months, but, like, it was kind of meant to happen. Because without that moment, and without those series of moments, you really wouldn't get 2 a.m. in LA.
No.
Right? We wouldn't have the record that we have now.
that's the whole point of the name of the album, 2 AM in LA. These are like all these songs are like different thoughts and experiences that I had at 2 AM in LA in the past 6 months. Just being a single person in LA, you feel all this pressure to go out and meet people and go out with your friends and get drunk, and
I don't.
You don't?
No, I
You're
sit
lucky
naked on
then.
my couch.
Well, I don't anymore. I felt that pressure when I was first going through it.
Because you give into the lifestyle a little bit.
Even to the lifestyle, and like LA, this is the place where like it's so easy to get caught up in it, and so you just got to kind of remember what's important, stay focused.
How many one night stands have you had?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, is too many to count?
No, I'm not saying.
Is it? But,
Too many people watching who I respect.
Well, I got a lot of questions, and not necessarily about the the person you're sleeping with.
Yeah.
How easy is it for you to get a one night stand?
He's like
You're
doing
just
research.
setting me up for failure. I'm gonna look like a douchebag no matter how I answer
Yeah,
this.
but I don't know. People.
How
It takes
easy
two
is
to
it?
tango, dude. Like
I
you're
mean-
not pulling a Bill Cosby. You're just smiling and flexing.
I mean, in LA, it's not as easy as you'd think because the competition out here,
It's
whether you're
fierce.
at a club or at a studio, everybody's out here doing it.
Mhm.
Everybody's really talented. Everybody's really good looking.
So what's your strategy?
just be myself.
Yeah,
Get some drinks in me.
a couple drinks, and what do you
Couple
do?
drinks and I'll be myself. I mean, I don't go out that much these days. When I first got single, I would go out all the time, and it was just a terrible. That's kind of when I wrote this song called "Sleeping with Strangers," because I just kind of came to the realization that like when you're in a relationship, you're like, oh, I wish one day maybe I'll be single and I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go out with my friends and sleep with all these people, and like that was kind of the realization of like, yo, the grass is not greener on the other side.
But that's really interesting because you were obviously in a relationship for a very long time. So this was the first time you were really able to be single and kind of be out there and,
Yeah.
and do it.
Yeah.
What was the worst part about having one night stands?
Just like I'm a girlfriend guy. Like I want like a best friend. I want to take somebody out to the movies. I want to go to dinner.
You want a partner in crime.
I don't want to have somebody who goes home in the morning who I don't even know their name or just like.
Have you had that? Where you forgot
I'm not
somebody's
saying-
name?
There's too many people that I love and care about watching this.
I just want a
but
number though. Like, can you give me like a rough estimate? Like,
no,
have you had to get tested? It was so many people.
no.
Oh my God.
You haven't gotten tested? And you're still single?
I don't think you're
We
going to
should
get
do
anything
that.
out of him. You've asked the same question 75 times.
Okay. You need
That's
to
that's
relax. Okay.
I would love to tell you off
Chill
the air.
out.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay, good, because
There we
I got thoughts here, man. Got thoughts.
I'm doing my thing. I'm staying safe,
but you're gonna
go.
stay
and I'm
single.
happy. I'm staying single for now, for sure. Yeah.
So what do you like about single life?
I'm just not attached to anybody. I can just kind of do my own thing. I can, if I want to spend all day in my room making music, I can do that. If I want to blast the music, if I want to hang
There you
guitars
go.
all in my bedroom, I can.
Oh gosh, who were you in a relationship with before? Not
well,
letting
no,
you
I
do
was,
these things.
I was just like living in the same bedroom as the person, so it's like I don't want to just make the room my man cave. Now I made it my man cave, so it's like there's definitely ups and downs, but I'm doing a lot better, and I'm just like I'm finding a lot of peace like through just making music. And
One of my favorite songs on the record was "Parties."
Thank you.
I mean,
We have a music video coming out for that on Thursday.
Such a great song.
Thank you.
Were you really afraid to go to parties because you thought you might see her there?
Yeah, not as much see her, just like see her with somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah, we're both kind of like doing our thing, seeing other people, and the last thing that I wanted to do is like go somewhere and like even just like walking down the street, like I couldn't because we live so close together. She lives like a mile away.
Oh my gosh.
We have the same friends. Like
Have
I
you
just
run
didn't-
into her at all?
Yeah, I mean we still see each other, but it's like I just didn't want to ever see her with somebody else because that would just be like okay, I can't do this. But
What would be your like? Would you judge the guy? Like, what would it be? I mean,
No.
you're probably better than he is, regardless.
I'm definitely no judgment when it comes to that, just because, after so long in a relationship, we don't really know what we're doing as single people. We haven't been single since we were 15, so it's like
That's
I'm gonna make
crazy.
mistakes. I'm gonna hook up with people who my ex would probably be like, okay, cool, like you have bad taste. Like I'm just trying different things. I'm meeting different people. I'm seeing what I like and I don't like.
What fueled this breakup? Was it both of you not knowing what single life was?
Yeah, it was just kind of. We got in it super early, and so we heard it from every angle. Every person was like, you guys are so cute, but like you don't know anything else. How do you have anything to compare it to? And for a while we were just like, yeah, shut up. We know it's love. But we got older and we matured and we're like, yo, if this is ever gonna actually go somewhere for real, we should take a break and just kind of see other people and see what else is out there so that we can maybe one day come back and really know that it's the real thing. That's like what my parents did.
Yeah.
They were middle school or high school sweethearts. They took a break in college, and they said if it wasn't for that break, they wouldn't have gotten married.
So this is open-ended.
Yeah, I mean, there's no bad blood. I'm not like saying I'll never get back with her. I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of hope so. Yeah, that's the goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, like me, when I'm done, I'm done.
Oh no,
You know?
it didn't end like that. It's just kind of like a we'll see type
Well,
thing.
what do you? How many years you dedicate to each other? 10, 11?
8.
8.
Wow.
It's a lot of time, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, you seem pretty sad on some of these songs on the album.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward because like a lot of these songs I made like in that period where I wasn't, feeling myself. And so like for them to come out now, everybody's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm cool.
I'm good now.
I'm good,
Don't
I
worry.
promise." But 5 of those songs, maybe 5 or 6 of those songs are like really sad songs. Like Sleeping with Strangers, Back to the Start, yeah.
Well, Back to the Start, it's an exciting
It's more
song. At least it's
hopeful.
upbeat. Well, Back to the Start, it's also the last song on the album. It's also the only song
Where
you're
you rap.
rapping on.
Yeah.
Is that like a hint that you're going to start rapping again? Because you're going back to your start? Or am I reading too much into this?
No, you're not reading too much into it. Now that I'm off the label, it's like I literally can do whatever I want. I could sing opera if I want on these
Yeah.
songs.
Did the
That'd be
label tell
awesome.
you not to rap?
A little bit.
That's what I thought. I thought they would tell you that, and then you put out your own stuff, and you're still singing. I thought you may have gone back to that because now it's your own.
So at the very beginning, it was like right after my last tour, we kind of all collectively said, okay, cool. Everything is doing good. It's kind of plateauing a little bit. What can we do to take it to the next level, to get that radio hit? Because we were still in that mentality. When you're in a label, when you're with a label, your whole mentality is get that radio hit, Get that song that's going to blow you up. And my fan base is huge in my mind, but relatively it's pretty small. I want millions and millions and millions of people. So the goal was always get that radio hit. What was your original question? I completely forgot.
I was saying the Back to the Start, like it's the last song, you're rapping. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of
so-
like going back to the original you.
But
so they pretty much at one point we all pretty much said, okay, let's just try to not rap for a little bit, go to some vocal lessons, figure out how to sing, which I did. And at first I was like, yeah, this is like the definition of selling out. Like, this is crazy. Like, I had a conversation with my dad. I'm like, now I understand what selling out means. Like, they're telling me to stop rapping. They signed me because they love me, but now they're trying to change me. And I was mind blown. And then I had a conversation with my dad, who's always right. And he pretty much just said, like, yo, good music is good music. Like, as long as you're singing on it, but it's still you, as long as you're still putting yourself into it, it doesn't matter if you sing or rap. The fans will still love it. If it's something you love, then that's it. And I was like, yeah, you're 100% right. And then I got really serious about singing, and all of a sudden it's just like, that's what I like way more. And as I started to get older and mature, that's just the kind of music I listen to, you know, like Bryson Tiller and people like that, just like that cool, sexy singing stuff. And I feel like that's more popular these days. And on top of that, it's just what I like more. So I will start rapping a little bit more. I'm not going to say on
Let
every
it be
song
a
for
hybrid,
sure.
man. John
It's a
Bellion rapped
hybrid.
on his album.
Exactly.
Come on, New York Soul, baby.
Whenever it feels right. Whenever it feels right.
There
I'll
is
rap
some
it.
baby making music on this album, though.
What?
And we got
What
like
song?
one or two.
Yeah, what songs do you consider on this album baby?
Well, I
making
don't know them
music?
specifically, but I was listening to it, and I'm like, all right.
There's one that has a reputation for sounding like a baby making song.
Did you have to test it out?
It's called No Return. You guys could test it out. Let me know how it goes.
Oh, have you ever played any of your music for any of your one night stands? You come over, they don't know you, but you
I
want to
played my music for some girls. Yeah.
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 Okay, so like, what ratio of the one night stands turn into like multiple stands?
You're making it seem like I have so many one night stands. What ratio? I mean,
Yeah, but you'd have a couple girls that you would see consistently. It would be more than just once. You'd remember their names.
Yeah, man, you're really digging in here.
I'm a little bit.
How
I
do
don't need
answer
to.
this?
You don't need to answer.
How do I answer this? I'm not having a lot of one night stands. I just want to let you know that.
Palm-
I'm a girlfriend guy. I like to
I get
have girls around. Like,
There's a song,
consistently.
"Sleeping with Strangers," man. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Palm Boulevard, is that where you live?
Yeah, it was my hometown street that I grew up on.
12-year-old you. What do you think 12-year-old you would say about you now?
Me now, he would be super proud. Just because I'm back to the roots, back to the start.
And you
I'm
3
just-
months ago?
Not as much 3 months ago, just the past few years. I got so caught up in all this materialistic stuff. And when you move to LA, like, you feel so much pressure, not only to go out, but to work harder. And, you meet all these talented people who you do your research. I do my research. I see other people popping. I see he's doing this, so maybe I should try it. And it's just like the 12-year-old me would be proud of me right now for just staying true to myself now and just doing what I think is right.
It really is easy to live here and get lost in everybody else and really lose yourself.
That's why Scooter is the happiest person I've ever met, because he doesn't go out. So I'm like, Scooter, what are some downsides of LA? He's like, there aren't any.
There are none.
Because he doesn't go to the club or he doesn't go out. He's with his friends and
Nice.
he cooks and that's awesome.
He
Like,
looks at
I'm
pasta
envious.
on the internet. He does his own thing.
It's amazing.
He marches to the beat of his own drum.
Good for him.
Why do you still live here though? Because last time you were here, you were tweeting about how you wanted to get out of LA. Now you have the song about, you want to go back to where you came from. So what keeps you here? If you're making your own music now, you can do that anywhere.
Just because I feel like I still need to be here. I kind of want to be here until I'm at the point in my career where I could be like, okay, cool, now I can go back to Fort Lauderdale. I definitely don't want to live here my whole life.
Yeah.
100% can't live here and raise a family here.
That's how I feel too.
Unless it's like Malibu maybe. And I'm
Maybe.
making a ton of money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, if
no,
you're
Yeah,
rich,
no.
this place isn't that bad.
it's definitely not. I mean, just like the Hollywood scene is so crazy. And so
It's gross.
every now and then I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here. I got to go home. But there are things I love about LA. The weather is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The energy here, everybody's just so creative and everybody's working and everyone's kind of doing what you're doing. So the competition level makes you want to work harder. And so if you look at that the opposite way, there's so much competition, I'm just going to go out and have fun and go to the club and try to get in Instagram pictures with famous people. That's when you start to go crazy and you're going to lose your soul and you're just going to become a terrible person.
Was that the moment where you were like, you know what, maybe I should leave? Like, did you have a moment with yourself where you're like, okay, maybe
I never had a
should-
moment where I wanted to move home. I've just had moments where I missed home and I missed just like the small city, not loud environment. But I can't do what I do at home. It's like I can go home and set up a studio, set up in my parents' house, but it's
Yeah.
like there's no creative energy there. There's no people I can go out and meet and have help me or collaborate with. It's like I'm still working with other people. I have friends come over all the time to write and produce. So I can't do that back in Florida.
Isn't that like an uncomfortable thing too? Like when you go out and you make a friend, and then like how do you take this cool friend and translate that into a work thing and like
Into real life?
Yeah, how do I ask them to collaborate with me? I mean, that's just to me like thinking about how some of that stuff comes together. I feel like it'd be a little uncomfortable, you know?
It's pretty hard. I mean, I've met the amount of people that I've met out here that I'll actually invite to my wedding. I could probably
Like
count them
three.
on one hand. I don't know. It's just. It is tough because you meet a lot of people like I think we were talking about it last time. Like I meet people like Zed out at a club or an event, or like the Chainsmokers, and like obviously I'm gonna talk to them and tell them about me and get their information, and then when does it get to a point where like I should actually text them and be like, yo, I saw you just announced a tour. Do you have an opener? Do you have an opening slot?
Like how do you do that?
It's just like it's really hard to cross the line without looking like, that guy.
Opportunistic.
But
or
that's
like,
what you're supposed to do in LA. That's why you moved to
I
LA,
know.
to take advantage of those opportunities.
Dude, even now, like I have friends of many, many, many years, and I don't like to poop where I eat, and like how do you? But here, everywhere poops everywhere. So
Yeah, there's poop everywhere on
Yeah.
the walls.
Yep, that's how I roll.
whatever, it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
No, you're right though.
Now, 2 MNLA, you briefly touched on this, but is that like when the songs were recorded, or is that the stories? Because my mom always says nothing good happens after 2 o'clock.
Well, that's where I had all the thoughts. That's
Yeah.
where I would. That's when clubs obviously and bars shut down in LA for everybody watching outside. of
1:30,
LA.
they pull the drink from your hand. It's crazy.
Yeah, lights go off at lights go on at 2. Everyone's leaving at 2, and so that's kind of like the moment where you either take an Uber back to your apartment by yourself and you're drunk and you're sitting in the back of an Uber like, okay, I hate my life. Or, you're going home with a stranger, which is also just kind of weird, especially for me right now. Or you're just kind of home overthinking. And there's a song in there called Answers where it's just like, it's about overthinking too much. And I came to a realization like, I'm never going to find the answers. Like, I'm never going to figure out what exactly I want. But just like as long as I'm happy every day, like it's just a reminder to kind of just ease up a little bit and don't be so uptight.
Overthinking could be like crippling.
It is crippling, yeah.
It
Absolutely.
really, you can stand in your own way at a certain point.
Yeah.
I only know that
You're
from
your worst enemy,
experience.
for
Yeah,
sure.
really, truly.
Yeah.
When's the last time you faked a smile?
Fake the smile?
Yeah, I'm going based on the lyrics in your song, man.
Yeah, you're right. You did your research.
Ah.
Sometimes when I'm out, it's just like I don't want to be there at all.
It's just,
Same.
and then in your head, it's just, get me the out.
Yeah.
Get me the
Let
out.
me go home. Let me just go to sleep. I would much rather these days just kind of be in my house, you know, watching a movie, ordering food. I have a really cool setup where I pretty much live alone now. The place is really dope, spotless, music, things everywhere, just things to feel inspired. Like, I just love being home now.
Are you done with the mainstream music label scene? You don't
I still love mainstream music. Like, I think that that's still the music that I make.
I agree, yeah.
But I'm not sure if I'll ever sign to another record label. It would have to be a situation where every label is offering me $10 million. You know,
Sweet deal.
Yeah, it would have to be crazy. But after being in that position, living the label life for so long, like, it feels so like, I feel like a bird right now. Like, I literally feel like I could do anything. It's like I have a small team now. It's like, besides like my agent and like my manager, it's just like me and my homies. And it's like, we're about to get on a tour bus and tour the country, see the fans. I get to keep all my money. It's just like, everything is great.
That's awesome.
Why was the last tour canceled? What were those reasons?
It was mainly just because we were figuring out that we were about to split with the label, and I couldn't announce that. And it was just, I couldn't do it.
Because I'm sure you heard tons of like, he's not selling tickets, all this type of stuff, right?
Yeah, that too. I mean, we went to much bigger venues than we should have. So that mixed with, I mean, that was kind of like, okay, now the label is even less enthusiastic because they're getting the ticket counts and we're not selling out these shows the way we wanted to. And so everything just, I'm telling you, everything just came crashing down. And so when the tour got canceled, that was right when I was single for the first time, and like, I need to get on this tour, not to go out and hook up with girls every night, just to distract myself. I need to get out of LA. I need to go on tour for 2 months and travel the country. And then it got canceled. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit in my empty apartment feeling sorry for myself this whole time?
No, make music.
Make music. That's what I did.
Were you nervous or excited for this music to come out?
So excited. So excited because I believed in it more than anybody. Like, there are songs in the past that, like, there's a song called Tell Me You Love It that I love. It was on the last EP. 8 people wrote it.
Wow.
8.
Wow.
Me and 8 people. And it's like, it wasn't like somebody gave me the song and I cut it. It was like, we got into a studio and I walked in and there was 8 people.
That's crazy.
And they're all so talented. But it's like, there's a part of you, it's like, okay, well, this song is only like 1/8 mine.
Yeah, well, it's not you. It's not an extension of you.
Exactly.
It's
that guy came up with this lyric. That guy came up with this melody. You hear that part? I wrote that part. It's like this part, this song, all of these songs, they're all me.
Who was validating this music and telling you that it was good? Because it was your first time making music from scratch. I mean, if I was doing that like on my own, I'd question myself every step of the way.
Who validated it?
Yeah, like who'd you go to? I mean,
I don't really send my music before it comes out to too many people besides my parents, my sister. My sister she should be an A&R.
you talk to her every week?
I talk to her every day. Yeah, well, yeah, now I do.
Yeah.
Now I do. But it's just like, she's like the perfect, you know.
Yeah.
She's the perfect
She's
age.
young too, right? Like 20,
She just turned
18?
21.
Yeah.
So like, if she likes something and her friends like it, I know I'm doing good. But I kind of validated it myself. It's like, I didn't know if it would sound radio ready or if it was gonna sound like mixed properly compared to all the other songs on Spotify, but I knew I loved it. And like, I would listen to it in the gym on the treadmill, and it's like, I'll get a runner's high just because like I pictured myself like performing these songs, and it's just like, I was so proud of them.
That's cool, man.
Thank
It's
you.
really freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Like, who'd you work with? Like, how big was the crew on this? Or was it really just totally you?
Compared to what an album would take in the past, which was
teams of people,
75, 80 people, when it's, you know, people in the art department who are making the artwork and all the people mixing and mastering and the merch and songwriting and producing. Like, when all those people are done, not only does it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's, you know, there's like 100 people involved. This is, I think there was like 8 people. My friend Cade helped me write this song, Can't Help Myself.
Cool.
Scott Effman, he helped me write Sleeping with Strangers. And then there's like 4 or 5 songs that I completely did by myself.
That's awesome.
And so that's it.
Wow.
How long did
And it didn't cost any money to make these songs. Where in the past, like some of those songs I was talking about, they would be like, okay, you're signed to a big label. We know they have a budget. If you want to use the beat, it's going to be $40,000.
Damn.
That's what it would be.
Yeah.
And so now I've like gotten a bunch of people who I'm like, yo, this is the deal. I'm independent now. I'm not in the position to be spending all this money on tracks and production fees. Just work with me. Like, let's just put out music. We'll do the splits. You get your percentage, I get mine, and that's it. Like, no big bucks. And so it took $0 to make this album.
How long did it take from start to finish to put the whole project together?
About 5 months.
not bad at all.
Yeah, and the album cover, I called up my friend Mark. We put a bed in the back of a U-Haul van. I rented the U-Haul van myself. I put a bed, and we disassembled Scott's bed. Put it in the, Scott is such a key player. I'm telling you, he's MVP. We disassembled his bed. We put it in the truck. We drove to downtown LA at like 3 a.m. We built the bed in the middle of the street. No permit, anything. We put the bed in the middle of the street. Took the album cover, and it turned out to be like my favorite album cover ever. Everybody's like freaking out about it. Everyone thinks it's like Photoshop.
It does
It
look
sounds
a little.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, last question about you hooking up. Were you nervous
I love
hooking
these
up with
questions.
something the first
Something.
something? Were you nervous hooking up with somebody the first time, like
Of course.
first time post breakup?
Of course.
Like what goes through your mind? Do you question your moves?
Of course, yeah. I mean, for the past 8 years, I was doing,
One
the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I wish I could give you juicier answers. I just know people
How'd you
who are
build up
watching
that-
this, so I don't want to.
Yeah, but how'd you build up that confidence? Because like you have to build from somewhere.
I don't know. I don't have a lack of confidence when it comes to that stuff.
Okay.
There you go. And you just kind of got to go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a penis. It's gonna get hard. He's a young guy. Like, what do you expect him to say?
Yeah.
That
but,
is true.
Yeah, but like, you question your ability and you question your talents, I would think, because like it's like riding a bike forever and then you get a moped.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah, but once you ride the moped once, it's you know how to ride it.
Still two wheels.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, right?
I have no idea how it works.
I don't think
so.
I've ever been on a moped, so
I tried to ride a moped once. It was too heavy for my arms.
is that like symbolism? Like you're
No.
a fat chick?
I wish I can get a fat chick. I can't get anything. I'll take anything at this point. Seriously.
Oh, wow.
But no, I really couldn't ride the moped. I was too weak.
Okay.
That was bad. It was very, very bad. 2 a.m. in LA is the brand new Jake Miller record.
Whoop, whoop.
Do your soul, do yourself a favor, check it out.
Yeah.
Favorite Instagram Jake Miller's ever posted of mine, you and Lederhosen.
Yes, that was so much fun.
You look good in that German staple.
Thank you. And then we went to the what's it called? Hofbrauhaus that night.
What is that, where they make sausages?
No, that's like it looks like Hogwarts inside, like the cafeteria that they eat at Hogwarts.
it's
It's
like
like
a-
everybody's just drinking beer on the tables, like chanting.
It's a beer garden.
Yeah.
It's a beer garden.
Did you-
I don't really know what. Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
you would call it in English.
Did you
but-
buy the Lederhosen?
No,
Oh.
for the
should've.
Instagram.
He was
That thing's expensive.
Dude, it looked like very intense leather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We walked in, it's like this poor old lady who thinks we're like really like searching to buy one. And I'm like, oh, let me try that size, let me try that. And then like we took the Instagram picture, I'm like, that's the one. Let's go.
Yeah, because you're the first person to come into her store in like months looking to buy Lederhosen.
Well, the whole entire store is Lederhosen.
Later, that's
Like,
sorry.
later. I don't know how to say it either.
Oh no.
There's nothing else you could buy in the store.
What?
So, and a lot of people there wear them.
Like
Yeah.
every
Like you'll
day?
go, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. People will just like casually wear them.
I want a pair.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Dan?
Nope. I'm just looking at this Instagram now.
Dude, you look great in it, man.
Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you.
Heather, any questions?
No, I'm good with the Lederhosen picture.
Okay, yeah, just
Thanks.
soak that in mentally
I will.
and keep it with you for a while.
I'll make it the background on my computer.
You should. I was gonna make it the background on my phone,
I'm
but I
kind
thought
of mad
that'd
that
be
it's
weird.
not already the background.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it existed. I'm sorry.
2 a.m. in LA is the record. Please go listen to it. It really is good.
You got your popper there. You can't end it without
Hey,
that.
Zach saying, thanks for having me, man.
Oh, of course, man.
How do
Anytime.
I do this thing? I just pull the string.
Pull the string.
Yeah.
Jake Miller, everybody.
Thanks for having me, man. Love you guys.